Before we unlock the list of our top action movie stars, we have to establish what's an action movie. We define it as a film where the main protagonist faces incredible odds in a race against time, heavily using stunts, weapons, explosions, and chase sequences to tell a story. For the past 40 years, action films have been a staple in cinemas. The evolution of the genre has gone through many forms over the decades, due to expanding budgets, over-the-top stunts, and the reliance of technology, i.e. CGI. From the edgy trailblazers of the 1970s to the renaissance of the 80s and the supersized violence of the 90s, action films and their stars have captivated global audiences. Today, however, rated R action film is almost a thing of the past, giving way to less bloody superhero fare and PG-13 options like Transformers.
Welcome to the Cinema Gold Show with your host, Larry Leese. From the small screen to the big screen, we cover all the latest entertainment news. Join us on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube every weekday.
Host Larry Leese. Today we're talking movies and TVs and the top 5 action stars in cinema history. First, we'd like to thank our sponsor Poddex for sponsoring this episode. Visit poddex.com and use the promo code Larry21 for 10% off your order. It's LARY 21 for 10% off your order. And now let's get into it. So at number 5, we have Jet Li. Before ever stepping foot in the action movie arena, Jet Li was already one of the top 5 martial art actors, with films like Once Upon a Time in China, The Legend, Kung Fu Cult, High Risk. Jet made his American movie debut in an action franchise with 1998's Lethal Weapon. From there, U.S. audiences got to see how innovative his skills were mixed in with gunplay, playing the hero in action titles like Romeo Must Die, Kiss of the Dragon, The One, and Cradle to the Grave. During that run from 2000 to 2007, Jet made 7 studio action features, cementing his place as a successful international action star. One of Jet's most praised action films is Unleashed. Playing an enslaved man with the mentality of a child and dog, Li goes on a hyper-violent revenge spree packed with gritty and impressive stunts. Even though he's gone back to his native China to make epic fantasy adventures like The Forbidden Kingdom and The Sorcerer and The White Snake, he's still very much a presence in the action genre, like with his role as Yin Yang in the Gun and Knives dream team of the Expendable films. Surprise, surprise, number 4 is Keanu Reeves. When we first met him as Ted Theodore Logan in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, no one could have guessed the action movie run Keanu Reeves would have. We may have dubbed him an unlikely action star in the past, but this unassuming actor has embraced the role of hero and created a path filled with iconic action roles. At 52 years old, Keanu has been a card-carrying member of the action star group for over 25 years now, proving that he can consistently deliver blockbuster hits like the upcoming John Wick franchise. The sequel serves as a reminder of the longevity he's had at the top, hardly ever going through a dull period, which most stars of the genre experience. Starting with Point Break in 1991, Reeves showed us how cool he could be as FBI agent Johnny Utah. He then changed the way we all look at buses in the thrill ride Speed with Sandra Bullock. Next, he and the Wachowskis flipped the genre on its head, revolutionizing the industry with his role as Neo, the One in the Matrix franchise, bullet time camera and all. Always cool under pressure and smooth with a gun in his hand, Keanu has made being an action star almost look effortless. And you can't really have a list without Clint Eastwood, so at number 3 is Clint Eastwood. One of the pioneers of action, the resident elder statesman of this group, has created cinematic characters that resonate beyond the genre. While today's current generation might see Clint just as an acclaimed director or not really appreciate his days as an action hero, the man's resume speaks for itself. Making a name for himself first in westerns, the foundation of Clint's action hero status is found with his Man with No Name character. While westerns aren't necessarily traditional action films, Eastwood created the greatest and most dangerous cowboy character of all time. He served as the anti-hero for Sergio Leone's spaghetti westerns For a Few Dollars More, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and A Fistful of Dollars. After achieving fame in that space, Clint created the standard by which all rule-breaking renegade action cops would follow in the form of Dirty Harry Callahan. In the 1971 classic Dirty Harry, not only did that arguably become Clint's signature role, but it propelled him down the action film path in the 70s and 80s. Eastwood's impressive run would include Magnum Force, The Enforcer, The Gauntlet, and Sudden Impact. It's been over 25 years since we last saw Clint being a badass as Bill Money in Unforgiven, but we'll always have that Dirty Harry line of, "Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?" And at number 2, and no surprise, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, best known for saying, "Remember slowly when I promised to kill you last?" I lied. Uttered those final words to David Patrick Kelly seconds before dropping over a cliff in Commando. That quote may not be as known as others in Arnold's collection, but it served as an example that the man was great at making threats in his action films. A man of his massive size with that thick of an accent shouldn't have been the international action star that he was. But he proved naysayers wrong, doing it better than anyone. There's nothing in the action genre he hasn't done. It doesn't matter if he's fighting on Earth, in the space, in the future, or in a world of fantasy and magic. Arnold was always in hero mode. No Arnold movie is the same. More than any other action star, he's created a varied list of loved characters and movies that stand on their own, offering a different layer to the man. There's Conan the Barbarian, The Terminator, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Predator, Total Recall, and True Lies. And those are just the top tier. In his prime, he was a real-life superhero, disposing bad guys and aliens while dropping some awesome one-liners. And finally, at number 1, the greatest action hero of all time, Bruce Lee. Hands down, the greatest martial arts figure of all time. This list was about the best martial arts film stars. Bruce Lee would be number one, no question. What can we add that already hasn't been said about the legend? A man who has influenced every action star, combat fighter, and athlete that has come since his time. Bruce will always be the exception to the rule when it comes to action movies, as even though he never fired a gun or wasn't involved in a high-octane stunt, he brought martial arts cinema to the States on a mainstream level. His fighting techniques and the story elements found in his films have been duplicated in countless action films since the 70s. Starring in only 4 big feature films before his tragic death, Bruce Lee will always be remembered as a skilled and smart fighter that stressed strategy and a spiritual philosophy over brute strength and size. His first taste of action and film came as Kato in the TV series The Green Hornet. The jewel of his legacy, however, is the 1973 film Enter the Dragon, that influenced movies and video games with its tournament boss structure. Even today, action filmmakers and actors are trying to capture just a small piece of what made the master so brilliant on screen. And that is our list of the 5 best action stars. Let us know your thoughts. Who do you think should make the top 5? Let us know on Twitter at Cinema Gold Show, or leave us a comment on Instagram at the Cinema Gold Show. Thanks for watching, and if you want to support the show financially, buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. Thanks for your support. It helps us grow the channel and show, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching the Cinema Gold Show. If you liked what you heard, subscribe to our podcast on all major platforms. Follow us on Twitter at Cinema Gold Show. And like us on Instagram at the Cinema Gold Show. Support the show by buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. As always, thank you for listening.